All right, it looks like it's about 6 o'clock, 6:05, 6:0 whatnot, rooster riddle do.
Something fishy going on. We're getting down into the Ohio River here at this Carriage House show. Yeah, what a fun time. This is coming together. I like it. Now we got Jerry. Jerry, so
Keeping it coming through, not to do. We're like little roosters with a kazoo or something,
This first one is called December 5th. It's actually my birthday, and it's an affirmation song. So.
It's coming in a second.
I'm sorry, but I've gotta be honest. I'm at the place of a pin. Skin is clear, I have no fear. Listen, I smile, it's real. No, I don't want your meals, I'm full of my dreams. My spirit goes to me, it's time to find letting me a new me. Always keeping my head up, 'cause I'm in safe pressure, keeping the faith, but I'm going nowhere.
I always love coming down to this farm, seeing the Great Miami and the white water, just like what they can do together down here. The lands is like these swampy, misty lands. I was thinking, like perfect spot for some like beautiful swamp witch to like come out and like offer me a sword and be like, here, you're a king. That's how they used to do it, right? Yep. So,
all right. You want to do it right now?
Yeah, you feeling it?
Let's do it. I'm going to sit down in the chair so I feel nice and easy and comfortable.
Yo, wake the farm up. Yeah.
What up?
What's up, everybody? We're down at Carriage House Farm. Rich, are you going to come up here? Get up here. Come on, you're going to right there. Rich Stewart coming up at Carriage House Farm. Yeah, we're going to get a little catch up on what's going down here in this valley here. How you been, Richard? Welcome. Good. Have you on?
What's up? Wake the farm up.
So how'd you feel about that live event there the other day? That was fascinatingly fun.
Oh, yeah. I love starting the year off this way.
Yeah, waking the farm up.
Buzz button mix back there.
You got so like, how does that buzz button mix come out? Does it like make your mouth numb like the spirulate?
Little tingle.
Yes. Tingle, okay. That's fun.
We're getting ready to start working on all of our outdoor stuff, working on hiking trails and bird watching points and picnic areas and an outdoor event stage for music.
Nice. Yeah, the Whispering Beards out at Carriage House. And then at the Lost Bridge Beverage Company, you guys are not only producing your own vodka and bitters and whatnot from the farm, but you're also hosting events. And, you mentioned during the live show a number of people who have come through the farm over the years and, connecting them with nature through, bringing them in through food and drinks and music and culture. I'd love to hear some about how that experience has been for you.
It's been fantastic. I consider myself fortunate every day when I meet the talent. I always tell them when they come in, I said, I'm just creating a canvas. And you guys are the artists that come in and enjoy and create something that I have no input in whatsoever. It's just, I just kind of create a blank canvas and they just kind of do whatever they want to do. So we got all these different artists and sculptors and musicians and stuff like that. And they just kind of do their own thing. And we don't have any rules other than we all be kind to each other. And it works out great a lot of times, almost all the time. And it's just been really, really fun. And
I love that.
I don't know. As a former artist, that's what I got my degree in fine arts. I'd left that path. Mm-hmm. Even when I started farming, I had left that path. And it's nice coming full circle and coming back to that in a completely different way that I'd never even expected.
I love that. The cycles of life and the big ecosystem around. And man, such a beautiful space there. And
Yep. So this
I love how I want to share with you, Rich, just how I love how embracing you feel to, like, I feel like I'm a part of it now because I've done the Wake the Farm Up show there more than one time, and we're friends, and it's like, it is fun. I love working with you, man. I love what you're doing. I love the people that work with you. They're excited about life. They are coming at me like full of purpose and, just excited to be a part of something bigger than themselves. And I see how that's something that you feel too. It's like beyond just like you, it's the land and the community and the people doing things together.
Yeah, I mean, this thing came to mind that as you were saying that. Do you remember back when we were at Northside Farmers Market? This might have been 2 or 3 years into the market while it was still, I think it had just moved from the parking lot over to Hoffner Park.
Yeah.
And I called you up in the middle of the day and I was asking you, is what I'm looking at right now, is this spice bush? And you're like, roll up the leaves. Does it smell like lemon?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, it does. And you're like, that's spice bush.
Spice.
Yeah. And that was kind of the beginning of my foraging days. And you were the very first person I ever reached out to confirm something that I wasn't too sure about.
Yeah. Yeah, it was like before the AIs, you know, you were lucky if you had an elf friend or like some plant lady or somebody in your life.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't have any of the plant identification apps on our phones or anything like that. I mean, it was still in the 2000s, but everything wasn't dialed in yet.
Right.
And compared to what it is now. But
it was cool. We were able to send each other pictures like, boom, like, what is this thing?
Yeah. We were our own plant ID.
We were working on numbers. Last year we had 28,000 people come through here.
What?
Yeah, so that's a lot of people.
It's great having it's rewarding to oneself to open up the land for people to enjoy. And but part of the reason that we do that is because, you know, we are temporary owners of this land. I am not going to be here forever, and the next person behind me may decide to do something different with the farm. I don't know, but my hope is that it will always remain open to the public. And we've been doing a lot to preserve. You know, we're in the middle of putting another 160 acres into a conservation easement, so that land will always be, whether it's a farmland or not, it will always remain what it is today, and that is undeveloped.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. It's fun seeing where this is all headed, and you know, you're asking me about having people come in and stuff. One of the things that's been fun is we've been a kind of a support structure, kind of like a for-profit support structure, because a lot of that stuff's not for profit or grant funded or something like that. We've been able to, as a for-profit business, act as a support structure, if you will, for a bunch of not-for-profits that want to do fundraising. Like, we've got a bunch of folks that want to help out the Mad Tom mountain catfish that's in the mountain Mad Tom catfish that's in the Whitewater and Great Miami rivers. Mm-hmm. And so, you know, we held a fundraiser on the farm for not just the local community and the protection of these fish but these not-for-profit groups that are fighting expansion of a landfill that's going up river from us. Mm. And you know, it's Catfish was telling me one time he was on a tour with Buffalo Wobbs and the Price Hill Hustle, and he and Casey Campbell were sitting at a table, and they happened to play this small bar on a return trip back from Virginia, in West Virginia or Eastern Kentucky somewhere. Mm-hmm. And they were doing a celebration of life event for this guy who passed away, and he was instrumental in saving that valley from being developed into a hydroelectric project where, you know, they were going to throw a dam up and that entire community would have been lost. And
underwater. And
it was just really cool because it was all these people that worked together with him as a community to do something. Because it, you know, takes many hands, and I'd like to think that's what we're doing on the farm, and that we're providing these, you know, help with other individuals or groups within the community to get certain projects done, or rivers cleaned up, or, you know, we're organizing a roadway cleanup this March so that we can, clean up all the beer cans people toss out the windows and stuff like that. So, but yeah.
keep going. They keep doing that, you know. It's crazy.
They keep doing, you know, you would think that that 1970s commercial with the Native American with the tear would have stuck in our minds in terms of not polluting, but for some reason people still feel the need to toss stuff out their windows rather than putting in the trash can.
Yeah, I always wonder if that's why other people's cars are so neat and mine's always messy.
I know. I always say, I don't throw anything out my window because it's all in my truck still.
Yeah, like you could do a forensic study of my last week in my car.
Right.
It's like this banana peel looks 3 days old.
Yep. So yeah, things are good on the farm, and it's I don't know. I like that we're doing this a second year. I think it's it's wake the farm up, and that's done on so many levels, both on the farm itself, the winery and distillery. It's kind of doing the same thing. We've got a whole bunch of different spirits that are all in the middle of production that are using last year's botanical harvests to make, like our gin. We just have a bunch of hibiscus that we threw in to give it this nice kind of magenta color, and we've got all these projects that we're just starting to start working on. It's kind of like the tip of the iceberg, and
waking the farm up.
Things kind of chill out during the holidays, and then bam, we're back to work.
Yeah, new year upon us. The winter's end comes soon. It's a good time to start propagating different things, and not just plants, but like your ideas, and get some new things set into the motion of the rhythmic cycle of the natural world.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm excited to get this show out, and it was a really fun event.
This is the live experience that you don't always get coming through on the audio show. So that's why it's fun to come to these things and get like an authentic experience,
In real life.
People jonesing for that anymore. And that's something that you guys are excited about creating with this amazing space here. It's looking so good for all the events. You got an event tomorrow night, which will be probably history when this show comes out. It's an amazing time to go by.
We're working our big outdoor stage this year, so we'll be able to host events on a regular basis. About the size of Whispering Beard, so that'll be fun. This is our big outdoor push this year. So that's awesome. A lot more trails.
On my computer, now that I'm thinking about it and looking it through and listening to it, it's hard to listen to.
Hey, sometimes that happens.
Yeah, we're all learning and growing.
It's like running the planter and realizing you never opened up the seed bin and you just planted 3 acres with nothing.
Yeah, it's just good practice, right?
And you're like, son of a gun, spent all that time.
But that's the authentic, real experience of Wake the Farm Up, maintaining ground, and we appreciate the grace and encouragement and support of our friends and community, and we appreciate Carriage House Farm and Lost Bridge so much for opening up their place to us twice now and helping us throw together an incredible evening with amazing guests and an amazing, wonderful audience that really you could just feel like it does something totally unexpected, because you can't really plan for all the things that and
it was the vibe was completely different than the first one, but they were both awesome vibes. And it was funny because you're a little bit different in this one. Also, it seemed like you were having a little bit more fun with the guests.
Before we cut into it, though, I do want to get some words from Justin back here. I know he's like hiding around, but I know he's got at least like 3 syllables that he was wanting to say out in here. And this is one of the creatures that's out foraging around in the land here, and this is one of these creatures that's taking all these different ingredients and mixing them together and giving them cool names like the Fig and Spice. That's just fun to say. Let's 1, 2, 3. Let's all say Fig and Spice as loud as we can. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Fig and Spice. Yeah, it doesn't feel like you're saying something else. Wake the farm up. Let's hear it for our boy Justin.
Wake the farm up.
Yeah.
Choo! How you been?
Good. How you been doing?
Living the fucking dream. How's anybody there be killing me?
Oh, good. So can you share with us like some of the feel of what it's like when you're out collecting ingredients, knowing that you have a trajectory for it? You know, there's something different about a conversation with that than, you know, just like finding something, identifying it. That's really fun. But I love like hearing like you're out there with like a trajectory and connecting with nature in a certain way and learning from it.
Well, I mean, as a chef, you know, I mean, when I go out in the woods, I look for shit I can eat, or stuff that I can use in culinary creations or in the beverage program or something like that. So it's kind of cool to just, you know, walk around and play with stuff like that. Because, I mean, great thing with alcohol is alcohol's a preservative.
Right, yeah.
So, you know, I mean, I can make all kinds of infusions throughout the season and then blend those into something in the end. So like right now, I'm running a new batch of gin. It's Old Tom gin.
Old Tom. Okay, is that what I was trying?
Yep. Old Tom is a actual style of gin, and traditionally it was sweetened with a sweetener. We are using honey that we raise here we produce here on the farm, and then also we are giving it a nice little herbaceous flavor and a little tinge of pink in it from Jamaican hibiscus, which is called red roselle. So yeah, I mean, the more we grow, the more the program grows. So it's kind of like waking the farm up.
I know that native truffle has been more challenging for people to find, but people have been training dogs to find them.
Yep.
Other times people have observed squirrels, because I guess squirrels can find them. I've happened across them, you know, years ago, but I didn't know what they were until later.
Well, I have a trained squirrel.
You got a squirrel? You got a squirrel friend?
He's a trained truffle squirrel. He lives over by the canoe and kayak ramp.
Really? What's his name?
You're asking way too many questions.
Yeah, can I talk to you after? I want to talk to his manager, see if he's get him on his Wake the Farm Up show. I love squirrel friends. I got some squirrel friends. I'm about to remember that.
Do you talk squirrel?
Yeah, dude.
Okay.
You're like,
Squirrels love branches.
yeah. You're nuts, man. I love talking with you. If you guys haven't, come down here and you know talk with this guy sometime. Even when he's serving drinks at the bar, he's always got time for it. He's amazing.
Yeah, I got my pet squirrels usually here with me.
Yeah. Appreciate you so much.
I'd like to welcome Indra Music up here. Carriage House Farm. You know, like, how you doing today, Indra?
I'm doing really good. How are you?
I'm good. So, yeah, that night there at Carriage House, that was pretty fun, huh?
It was really fun, yes.
Really...
Amazing vibes. Learned a lot about the Ohio River, and it's about conservation and stuff like that. So it was a really good night.
Yeah, I liked how your music really brought the room together into a whole place, like that first moment when you started singing and you could feel like just the room just like almost feel like the presence of the Ohio River coming through a song or something like that. You know, it was a really amazing feeling. And, you know, like I'm going to probably share a little bit of segments of some of that feel, but, you know, I appreciate you, you know, offering to give Carriage House and that, you know, that whole night another clear recording that we can, you know, share with the farm there and the land and the river.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to sing for real, honestly. So I have no issue. The first song I'm going to do is with my bass. It's called Ready to Fly. And it's one of the first songs I ever wrote with my bass. And it's like a love song. I wrote it. It's interesting because I actually dreamt about this person last night. And I would never talk to that person again. But the emotion, the feeling that I had for that person, it wasn't necessarily specifically towards them. It was more so of like how I see love and like how it makes me feel and like, you know, how it, the kinds of things that it does for me. So I just kind of wanted to sing it with bass tonight because I was like, that's where it started. And that kind of like gives me into my energy a bit. So yeah, I'm just gonna play around with that. You'd love to hear it.
Yeah, we're ready to listen. What's up, India? Here we go.
It's okay, it's not perfect. All right. Make my life right, make my heart smile. You can be my star. Love feels just right when it's done right, without pain and strife. Some wouldn't believe me. They say love isn't easy. When you fly, you won't feel the ground. That's how you know you found something. Oh, you found something. Or something found you in your darkest days, in your darkest ways, and still it stays. I plan to stay, no matter how scared, as long as you're there. Oh, heart is open wide, ready to find the love I have inside. My heart is open wide, ready to find the love I have inside. Ready for the ride, ready for the fight, just you and I. Okay, that's the first one.
That sounds so nice. That's such a beautiful song. I feel.
But yeah, that one was like I said, that was kind of just like the feeling of love. And like I learned at the end of the day, if you really love somebody, you know, they talk about unconditional love, but a lot of people kind of take unconditional love as if it's like, oh, you're just going to do anything or for that person, like not have boundaries or not like think about yourself. But in like reality, like understanding that someone is not, you're not owed to anyone. No one's your property and no one owes you the love. They don't even owe you the love that you give them. But if you truly love someone, you're not, hi Grant. If you truly love somebody, you're not going to be keeping score about the things that they do for you, because when you do things for them, it's out of the pureness of your heart. So love shouldn't feel like a job or a chore. It shouldn't feel like, you know, it shouldn't feel so forced. It should feel like, wow, you know, I get joy and I feel good loving you. So, yeah, that's what that song pretty much about.
Yeah.
You missed it, Grant. You missed it.
I feel like that really taps into a realm of what we talk about on this show. A lot are getting into that like deeper connection to our natural flow with nature, and you know, how does that even kind of even correlates into those realms of like, you know, given love in this world in an unconditional way, there's a lot of different ways in which you can love someone. And sometimes, like that unconditioned goes to giving space. It's like the best gift that you all of a sudden can give this person you love is space.
No, space. Sorry. Yes. Space to figure yourself out. Space to love yourself. Even because some people kind of just jump into things thinking that they're ready just because whether they're lonely or they're worried. That sometimes we settle for things and just put the wrong intentions into things. We're not getting with people because we like that person. We're getting with people because we don't want to be alone. That's not the right reason to be with somebody. Right. So yeah,
no conditions for that. No conditions for that.
No. Now the air wants to stop, so let's keep going before it comes.
Let's do it. I'm excited. So I'll hush up my little elfie lips here and get down. I'm ready to open my ears. I love your voice. Here we go.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I really was excited to sing.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're down here at Carriage House Farm. January 25th was amazing. This was one of our special guests of the night. We got Julie Hiedel Rizzo of the Oxbow Inc. Check them out. We're going to hear a little bit about that. I know I definitely want to hear about what letter Oxbows are again at some point. That was a really fun part of the show. But say, here's Julie. How you doing?
All right. So, hi. Thank you for having me. My name's Julie. It's Hiedel, actually.
Hiedel.
The non-German pronunciation. Okay. So, but it's cool.
I made it high, I guess. I'm sorry.
I know, right? So, I don't know. Just call me Julie. But
I don't know. I think everybody, you guys should respect her and call her Julie. But if you don't mind, I really do enjoy calling you Rizzo and watching your face when I say, "Hey, Rizzo." It's you get this little extra glow, so I'm gonna keep doing that. I can't help it.
Right. Well, that was wasn't that the word of the year of all things? Oh, it was terribly encouraging for my children who had that Riz no matter what, right?
So Julie's mom used to work on the farm in our CSA. And we used to sell her eggs to the farm market back in the day. She used to be a neighbor that just lived down the street from where I live, because I don't live on the farm. And, and so there's a community aspect there to Julie and the Hiedels as a whole. And then her brother, when he was younger, I had him work on the farm as an employee. He helped me with the beehives and building things and fixing things and stuff like that.
Right. But so the Oxbow Incorporated, yes, Oxbow Incorporated is it's a 501c3 land trust that protects the floodplain of the Great Miami River at the confluence of the Ohio River in extreme southwest Ohio and extreme southeast Indiana. And that's what the Oxbow is. We are the closest neighbors to, if you go downstream from the Lost Bridge, we are one of the closest neighbors. You hit Hamilton County Parks and then you hit us.
Gotcha. Okay.
And we protect. So we protect.
The Shawnee look out there and then you're right there. Yeah, and that's all protected land and it's wild.
It's all protected in perpetuity forever. So it'll never be developed. And Oxbow does a great job of making sure that it is for forever. So if you go to the Shawnee Lookout Trail and you go to the very end and you see the bridge for the railroad, and you look down and it's man, that looks really cool. Where is that? It's at the Oxbow.
Incredible. Yeah. So you explained during the live show really well, I thought, how oxbows are formed throughout, river systems throughout the world. Can you describe that a little again? And I love how it gets
I'll try my best. Okay. So an oxbow is it's a formation that happens when a river or stream is allowed to meander within a floodplain. So eventually, what happens is a big curve in a river will be cut off, and it makes like a capital letter D. So the curved part of the letter D is an oxbow, and the straight part of the letter D is the river that cuts it off.
Bam.
And
That's so good.
Yes.
Yeah,
Right.
it's like I
So
want to, I almost like, in like an old tradition of an old show I know a lot of kids watched back in the day. This show was brought to you by the capital letter D today.
Exactly. Yes.
It's like
Exactly.
I love looking at maps, and I like how certain shapes can be formed in the landscape that we can see from above, and
Absolutely. You can see the old riverbeds of the Great Miami over time, and actually even a river system before the Great Miami, before the glaciers came through, the Taze River system.
The Taze.
But yes, Teays is the Taze River system, which was there before the glaciers came through and kind of messed everything up. But that's why the Great Miami has this incredibly wide, it's wider than the Ohio River floodplain at the same area. But if a river system is allowed to meander as it does, it will make these big S curves back and forth and back and forth. And you can find these ancient ones within the Oxbow itself still. They're just depressions now that have been silted over, but it's really lovely to think about all the history that's there. So it's a really interesting place. There's one of the first people who really was the guy who brought the most attention to the Oxbow at our inception, Oxbow Inc.'s inception. His name was Morris Mercer. And he was quoted to say that the history is so thick that it drips from the trees at the Oxbow. So, and it's true. I mean, geologically, culturally, just the natural history of the area is incredible. And you can just keep going further and further and further and further. And it's amazing.
Yeah, exploring every little piece of it and kind of doing, I like the concept of forensic botanical studies, where you can read a landscape just by like what botanical, patterns have happened there. And
absolutely. Yes. We work with another nonprofit that has some property in the Oxbow, the Big Bottoms down there. And it's the Archaeological Research Institute, and they and other archaeologists who have studied the area have come up with different lists of plants that they have found in their studies and in their, their research. And so I am able to look back and say, okay, so there was viburnum and blackhaw and, the hazelnut and plum and these things that were there when the first peoples were in this area. And to be perfectly honest, as long as people were able to be in that area, in this area here, there have been people here. So as soon as the glaciers left, there were people in this area. And it's humbling to be a part of that stewardship legacy, I guess, of people who take care of this place, because it's an incredible place. It really is. I can imagine too, for like the eons, our river systems were our ways of traveling, our main highways. And that was like, that area, I can imagine almost being at one time, like when, you get to an area in a city on a highway and there's like 6,000 exit ramps going off everywhere. It's like there's so many little tributaries and large tributaries to the Ohio River converging right there. And sure. Well, this will blow your mind. The the population 2,000 years ago in Lawrenceburg is the same as it is today.
2,000 years ago?
Yes.
Wow.
So there were that many people that were living, in there's always been this many people in that area.
Wow, so it's pretty...
Look at y'all moving around. Okay, 1, 2, 3, wake the farm up. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3.
Wow, so it's a pretty... that's, kind of a pretty stable area.
It is. The land is very fertile. The river provides, right? It brings in the rich, fertile land to farm. And for as long as folks have been farming, it has been farmed. It's a good place to be. So there's been people there.
It probably would be a good place to farm black haul. I bet the black haul grows really vigorously down in the lowlands there and in that.
It should. It's not there nearly enough, but yes, it should be there. Yes.
Yeah. Well,
that's one of those plants that I need to see more of in the area.
Yeah. I like that idea of encouraging plants into areas that, like you said, have historically been a part of the area. And sure, times have come and changed over the ecosystems, but, once again, people connecting with the earth and interacting with it, we can encourage some of these things because that's often how historically there was probably at one time a massive black holes in areas like that where we live.
Right.
And it was because of people's interaction, not from their lack of interaction. They didn't just sit in their huts and then once in a while go out and randomly forage things.
No, there was a domestication of plants, right? So if there was a good patch of something growing, you would tend that and encourage that and pick all the rest and make sure that the stuff that you wanted or needed would come back the next year so that even as a nomadic, a cultural group, that you'd be able to come back and say there'll be more, walnuts or acorns or, we know a good patch of this in this area. So let's make sure that we can come back here again and hit it when it's harvest time,
Like the birds would, they'd be like, hey, there's a bunch of black hole over there. Let's go visit. They're ready. And, people would move just like that too and move with those energies of the earth. And it's a really cool connection. And there was
absolutely. And
that brings me, I guess, to something with, I want to hear one of the reasons though. Cut me off.
One of the reasons. Say it again.
No, you were going to say one other reason, and then I interrupted.
Why we keep the poison ivy? Oh man, if you come to the Oxbow Nature Conservancy, and you are aware of what poison ivy looks like, you will see fields and fields of poison ivy. It is a poison ivy, just field, I guess, in some areas. But there are many migratory birds who depend on the poison ivy berries through the winter. And a lot of, unfortunately, humans get a bad rash from it. At least some of us do anyways. But the place is not for us, I guess, necessarily. It's not necessarily tended to be human use. It's for all, and definitely for the birds. But there's a lot of poison ivy down there.
Yeah, humans, we tend to go into areas and really inhabit them and be like, yeah, we need picnic tables and we should spray this so that children can run around and not get diaper rash and all the different things. And there's so many.
It's a great place to show your kids what poison ivy looks like and how to stay away from it.
and to test, their, ability, to
their allergicness to it.
Right, like how bad will they react?
I will say that if I speak nicely to it and tell it ahead of time, the poison ivy, like we're going to be cutting some of you here soon, that I don't get it as bad. But if I come through and accidentally hit, this is weird, but if I come through and hit some poison ivy and I haven't told about it, I will get poison ivy blisters bad. But I haven't gotten it too bad, and I do definitely get it.
I think
So,
it's fascinating that goats will eat it, deer will eat it, many animals.
Oh, it's delicious for them. They go for it first.
Yeah.
I keep goats at my farm, so that's actually what I was doing today.
Cool.
Was trimming goat hooves. It was manicure day, so
get that curl off.
Oh yeah, it was But the goats, they love it. It's got to be like spicy, or it's something new for them to taste.
Well, it looks really
but
oily.
Looks
really oily, so I imagine it does something there with making them. It's like, I know we like stuff that's got a lot of butter in it. It's probably similar.
Sure.
It's like oily leaves.
Well, or just something to give them a little, it hits a different spot in their tongues and it makes it taste good. I don't know.
Yeah.
Goats are weird.
Goats are weird.
They are weird.
I love that. That might be that should be a good sticker.
They are strange animals, but they're good friends.
So yeah, we're kind of even like dancing around some of the other question I was going to ask you about. Was we brought up during the live show? I had mentioned seeing you, working with fire as a way of land management. You mentioned not doing that at the Oxbow, but upstream the Great Miami Whitewater there.
Yes, it was actually Heritage Park is the name of the park that I had done the prescribed burn at. And it takes a lot of, it's a true trade almost. You've got to truly learn from other people who have done it many times before, and you've got to work with those folks, right? So you've got to be like a journeyman or whatever. What's that? What am I trying to look for here? Where you're an apprentice.
Okay. I was thinking things like pyrotechnician, like somebody that's able to observe the humidity, and kind of be able to calculate how fast fires are going. Somebody that's able to observe the wind currents. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that was my job for the most part until they stuck a drip can in my hand, but is to monitor the humidity. So you have a weather person who just pretty much every 5 to 10 minutes takes, the humidity readings with the little, you spin it around above your head. And the temperature and the wind direction is all really important, but it's definitely something that, out west, folks are trying hard to stop these wildfires, where here in the East, we're using prescribed burns to maintain ecosystems that had seen fire in the past. And it was always maintained to a certain extent by humans. But to use the prescribed grazing, where you bring in different. So goats are weird. Goats are not. They don't eat grass. They are browsers, so they want to eat things that they have to stand on their hind legs to eat. Where sheep or cattle will eat the grass. You need almost a mixed herd of animals to come through for prescribed grazing. But that might be something that is more feasible for a floodplain environment than the fire, just simply because the fires are best done in March. You've got to have a certain temperature and a certain humidity. And those just happen to fall when it's underwater for the most part. And the grazing is a little bit different. So we know that there had to have been some sort of migratory herd movement in the past, because that's what the birds followed. Yeah. And that's what the birds still follow, even though these large herds are gone. Yeah. The bison, right. So it's interesting. Yes, an elk. Elk is coming back. I think there's a decent elk herd in southern Kentucky and Tennessee, but not
Nice.
here.
Yeah. It's
you
so
know.
it's so interesting because we live in a times where we have fences everywhere. There's like fences
Right.
and walls and roads that are cutting off these like natural patterns, and it's like it'd be just fascinating to understand how we could even incorporate like massive wild herds of animals into our existing flow of society.
Right. I mean, even the Oxbow Conservancy itself has 275 that cuts right through the middle of it.
Right.
Right down the middle of it. So it's so close to the city, but boy, does it feel like you're really far away. And even at Carriage House, you can get that feeling of being so removed from an urban environment where all you got to do is cross that bridge and you're on a highway for the most part,
Just like zoop, just jump right out there. And then if you're on Jim Schultz's trip, people are coming up the river highways again now. And it was fascinating to learn there's little stops that are safe spots along, the river there at Carriage House, and you can paddle through. I know people that paddle around in the Oxbow a lot, and I've seen pictures of you doing that too. So that's a really fun thing to, access and enjoy.
There were people paddling today. Yeah. In the river, the Ohio River at Cincinnati today, it just hit its crest. So it was 47 and a half feet today. And there were two gentlemen that I ran into at the Conservancy who were putting in, and you're able to paddle through the trees, basically, where a road was a week ago. Today, there's 3.5 feet of water. So in a kayak, you can paddle down the road. And I was kind of very jealous that I didn't have my kayak with me today.
I'll be honest, I do remember paddling past the McDonald's in Lawrenceburg in 1997. It's like we went through the drive-thru. It was like the low one, there across from. There's I don't even know how many of them there are over in that area, honestly, but there's a bunch of them.
There's too many.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of that.
Yeah. But we'll get people back into, respecting and cultivating black hall berries in the area, and nettles, and we'll.
Oh, the nettles are something I would love to see, because I believe there's a way to make a fabric out of nettles. Do you know anything of this?
Well, the stalk of the fiber is fairly easy to make a cordage with your hands by harvesting it, when it's tall and letting it dry a bit so that when you crunch it with your fingers, that pithy part on the inside comes out. And then, the more you kind of crush it, it just kind of turns into a long strand of fiber. And then, I imagine people that are highly skilled at moving around with these materials and, could be weaving some amazing fabrics together with that. And honestly, I love exploring where plants get their names. And I even think nettles probably got their name somewhere along the way. People were making nets out of them.
Yes, absolutely.
So now
that's very interesting to me. Because in my experience, nettles and elderberry are about the only thing that will outcompete the Japanese chaff flower, which is an invasive species that I have to deal with that almost nobody else has to ever deal with because it comes in on the floods. It's along the Ohio River corridor there, and I have no good way of dealing with it because it's very it comes up with everything else, and I hate to spray down everything. I hate that. I hate to erase that native seed bank so early. But it's got the burrs, and so it sticks to people and pets, and anywhere that we try to improve the habitat by removing, the honeysuckle or the traditional invasive species that we all think about here in the tri-state area. The nettles outcompete it. But I can't buy stinging nettle seeds because nobody wants to collect that. And I have a hard time trying to convince people to go and collect stinging nettle seeds with me.
Yeah, and I guess the nettle that we're talking about, I'm thinking of the leopard tea. Is that the one we're talking about? The native river nettles that are really big, wide leaves, which are different than the one that you'll often hear herbalists talking about, the Urtica dioica. So that's something to consider. Looking up leopard tea seed might be available somewhere.
Really, you think so?
I
hate to have. I mean, there's times where I walk through nettle fields that are over my head at the Oxbow. Now, that's the other thing, is that the ground is so fertile that things just grow immensely. Mm-hmm. So,
long fibers.
Yes, you could make lots of interesting nets with these nettles.
Oh, wow. Rizzo! Julie, thank you so much for sharing. I love how much you've, you're getting more comfortable with the microphones, and you have so much to share. And I really appreciate you sharing at the live show experience and jumping in here and sharing in, creating some good, clean sounds for the people to hear and connect with the river and the Oxbow. I'm so, excited to keep up with you, and I'm gonna paddle around down there with you sometime. I know it.
Anytime, yes, please come. I'll take you for a little wander.
Yeah, little Sonder wander.
Yeah, Sonder wander. Yep.
Yeah, I know Oxbows are special. Yeah, absolutely. You're special. Thank you for being up here. I appreciate it so much. Thank you so much.
One of our other very special, fun guests of the evening was India and her singing, and I'm looking forward to trying to catch a little bit of that through, some clear, and that was a feel.
I was trying to record like about 30 seconds of her singing on her second song, and I was so enamored with her singing and presence that I realized all I did was take a picture, not shoot any video, because I was trying to share it with my daughter. And I'm just like, sad that I didn't get the video, but very happy that I got the entire immersive experience without being distracted.
Yeah, well, down here at Wake the Farm Up, we'll add that into our dedication of the show. We're going to get a good, some good, clean sounds for you to share with your daughter, and, hope she enjoys it. Yo, Wake the Farm Up. Thank you all for being down here. Thank you down here at Carriage House Farm, Lost Bridges, January 25th, 2024. Here we go.
Wake the farm up.
Baby.
Thanks, Andy, for doing this.
Yeah, thank you. All around, gratitude party.
I'm gonna sing some songs for you. Like you said, my name's India. Now, I've had a lot of names in the last few months. So, right now, I'm just gonna go by my government. It's India. India, Raw, I'll figure it out one day. But at the core, but I'm India.
I was just going to give you guys a snippet of a song that I have, which will be coming out soon as a music video. Whoever sees this and watches this will know, but
cool.
If you don't, you won't know. But
I love that.
And yeah, so just a little surprise thing I'm doing. But I guess I can start with that one. That one's called Wait and See. So this one is I did this with a producer here in Cincinnati, and it was kind of like, they have like, it's like, how do I explain it? Like I'm basically telling people like, you don't really know me, and you're gonna have to wait and see to see who I am. Like a lot of people when they meet me, they're like, oh, she's so happy, she's got a little smile on her face, she's so joyful, and or some people say I look like I don't want to be bothered, but either way you get it. A lot of people when you first meet me, you don't necessarily see everything. I kind of prefer like that. I feel like we all, we hold parts of ourselves back whether it's for protection or just like people don't really need to know that much about us. But, you know, I really try to keep who I am, and I really try to bring love to the table, and like everything I do is out of love. But there was a moment where I wanted to like kind of let people know, like, hey, like, you don't really know. And like that kind of energy is kind of what went behind this. So it's like, it's not a diss track, but it is a like, you know, you're not really seeing what you think you're seeing. So, yeah.
Feeling it, yeah.
Yeah, so this one's called Wait and See, and I was just going to do it a cappella, just so you can hear me, because, like, I know through the phone, like, it may, I don't want to, like, you know, I just don't want any misconceptions or something not being heard, but, yeah, I'm going to start after I breathe. Speaking gold got me in a chokehold. You know you're not supposed to be that close. I need my space in my own bubble. Not taking energy, no, not no more. See, I've been dreaming for a long time. For something bigger, not no part-time. Won't be stopping till I get mine. Breaking rules, so just send me the fine. I can't rely on another's eyes. Because it's all in the alignment. Your eyes are open, but you still can't find the realest shit that's inside me. Oh, you wanna know me, but you can't even see past the things that you wanna see. That ain't even me. I'm a pretty thing, but I come with some things. You're just gonna have to wait and see. Well, you see, I'm a little complicated. I don't like it easy. I can do no basic. I'm just trying to be the one to feed my family. Everyone wants to know where my plans be. See, even if I can say the words, I only know how to speak in code. Speak with feelings since we overload. How do you even know that you were chosen? Wanna know me, but you can't even see past the things that you wanna see. That ain't even me. I'm a pretty thing, but I got some things. You're just gonna have to wait and see. That's one.
Wow. I'm like just so savoring this moment right now of you singing to the. I know we're getting to share this, everybody, but it's like such a little special moment for me. I'm getting to hear you sing these feels and just like, you know, I had my eyes closed for a second and there was maybe like 3 seconds where I felt like I was just listening to music on a headphone, but I'm just like feeling like the presence of this moment right now and how you were singing, like the trills, the highs, the lows. There's so much to it, like in the emotion and the rhythm. Thank you so much.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, thank you.
No, thank you. Come close to the mic. Come close to the mic.
I'm like melting away from the microphone right now. What am I gonna do? Yeah.
Thank you.
I love
that one's one of my I love that one. I'm excited for the video.
So I've seen you guys were working on some videos. Is that part of the videos that I've seen on the Instagram platforms that you've been working on with like a crew of dancers and all the things?
The dancers, that was actually, I was a background dancer for another artist called, her name's Tiana Dean. She's really awesome. I'm actually connect you guys because she's really sweet and she's really good too. She would love to perform. that was just for that. I didn't really post much about my actual filming. I really just posted like my makeup, and I was gonna post a whole nother thing. I am so bad with social media. I'm trying to get better with it, but I am. You would think as a digital media major that I'd be on content and everything. I'm like learning how to do content because, like, for me, I have the storytelling. I could give you a story. I could sell you something. You will want to buy it by the time I'm done. But like to sit down and to learn the algorithms and all that, like it's a lot. So like, and also like kind of like just my business don't really, my first instinct isn't to post on Instagram. So not saying anybody who does, that's an issue. I might need to hire you for something. But like for me personally, I'd rather just live my life. But
yeah, they're all just tools.
But yeah,
they're all just tools. We don't want to become tools for the tools,
Yeah, and it can really get like that. Like, I want to get into content creating, but I don't want that to become my new 9 to 5. So like, it's all about finding a healthy balance and making sure that the content you're putting out, yes, it's to bring people in and to give them something like, hey, this is what I have, come support me. But also I don't want it to be so inauthentic that it just feels like I'm always looking for likes and comments and responses and always doing what people want me to do, or I got to stay true to me. So I'm trying to figure out me. So then when I put me out, it's like, all right, that's me. So yeah.
Love that. Support that. Encourage that. Authenticity. Come through. Do it your way.
Authenticity.
Be a little subversive, When the norm says, this is how you do it. Be like, oh yeah? Let me show you how I'm going to do it.
So I'm going to do it. Not for real.
Yeah.
Because my whole goal is to do it differently. Like, I've seen what's going on. I've seen what people do. And, like, I don't agree with everything. And I like some things and I don't like others. But that's just supposed to do. You're not just supposed to take everything face value. You're supposed to figure it out for yourself and, experiment and all that stuff. So I'm really in the experimental stage. Like, I'm just seeing what works, seeing what doesn't work, and then moving forward from there.
Are you coming up here?
All right, you guys ready for yoga class time? All right, we're gonna do a quick session in. We can stretch this in here. We got flexibility.
Are you a flexitarian?
That's elf tricks.
How you doing today? Wake up, warm up.
How are you? It's been a couple months since we've talked this way.
Yeah, it's great to connect. You were live on the Whispering Beard show. You were the yoga instructor for the Whispering Beard Festival, and you've done regular yoga classes at Carriage House here itself.
That's correct. Yeah, we're still continuing that. We're making it regular on Saturday mornings. That's kind of why I wanted to come up here, just to give a shout out. It's going to be regularly Saturday mornings, 10:30 a.m. They're free donation-based classes. They're free yoga. Yeah, slow classes, good for beginners.
Saturday mornings. Like every week. So how many of you people keep a calendar well enough that you usually know what day of the week it is? Put your hands up.
I do now.
Like 3 people here keep a calendar. Can you believe that? Like, it's today's Saturday.
Wait.
Who knows? Maybe somebody will listen to this on a Saturday and it'll confuse them in a whole different way. So, what kind of things have you been doing? What else is like your connection? I'm on this connection with nature frequency here in 2024. Can you share a little about your connection between yoga, nature, and people?
Oh, wow. Okay. Yoga, nature, and people. I feel like they're all kind of like implicitly connected. Yoga, long time ago when it was practiced by kind of ancient yogis, it was definitely a thing that was done outdoors. There's always been kind of a connection to being outside, and that's what I try to do on the farm here when the weather's nice too, to be outside. But it's nice to just be here in general. It feels even when you're inside of this carriage house, you're still connected with nature. There's beautiful plants everywhere. You can see right outside into the farm.
I love the educational posters that are on the wall behind us. Different ways of propagating plants and some good ideas and knowledge and drawings.
good to have those things kind of like imprinted into your brain. You know, I sometimes think about that. You know, like yoga and other things that can kind of put yourself in a certain mindful place. It helps like get your brain neurons to go in a certain direction, and I know I find that in other things too. I've mentioned it to you before about I can look at moss and it does similar kind of things. It kind of gets my brain back into the circulation of the greater ecosystem and what I'm supposed to do as a creature in it.
Yeah, moss. I know we talked about mushrooms too last time we were together.
So yeah, you taught at the Kentucky Mushroom Festival as well. You want to share a little bit about that kind of flow? Are you doing that again?
Yeah, let me follow through with that. I did teach 2 different classes at the Kentucky Mushroom Festival that was down in like Center Kentucky area, and hosted by the same folks that do Playthink and the Kentucky Yoga Festival. And that went really well. I had a good class. I taught a sound bath meditation, some crystal singing.
Sound bath meditation. Can you give us an idea what that is? You know, audio listeners might be interested in like bathing their ears.
Yeah, it does sound weird.
Like what kind of sound? Like you kind of like.
So it's like a sound meditation. Like you're enveloped by sound, so you're like bathed by sound, right? Basically. So it's kind of like imagine that you just get to lay down comfortably. They're nice, relaxed, soft vibes. It's kind of a meditative experience, usually between like a half an hour to an hour, where someone that's been trained will play different instruments, different like auxiliary percussion to create a meditative experience through sound. And it kind of just ties into sound healing that has been done through virtually like every culture throughout history. So. Yeah, it kind of ties in with the whole yoga thing.
Yeah, we're planting seeds, you know, it's like this little creation, you know, like one thing seeds over to another thing and grows into things, and little tiny acorns can grow up into giant trees, you know. I don't know, just like throwing little Wake the Farm Up tidbits, you know, like a full-grown oak tree will have like 55 something acres of surface area on it, where, you know, it's like, you know, it all came from a little seed.
That's right.
Cut that tree down. Like, you don't want to cut that tree down, then you have 3 square feet of surface area, you know, you're just stumped. But maybe you make some like cool yoga blocks or something like that, you know, like do you like using like yoga props and stuff?
I highly encourage props. My classes are free and everything that I buy is on my own dollar, so I do have community mats at this point, but I don't have a lot of props. Of course, we always have chairs that we can use here, but I highly encourage props. There's no shame in needing to use an extra thick mat, or even like rolling up your mat to give your knees a little more support, or using like a bolster, which is like a really heavy thick pillow, or like you said, the blocks, the foam blocks that can really help achieve some of the.
So what's like if you were to just like walk out in the forest and like, is there ways to find props out in the forest without like all these like foam blocks and different things? Is there
lean
like
on some trees, you know, put your knees on some nice soft moss. You were mentioning moss. That would be a perfect little thing to support your knees. But yeah, lean on some trees if you're doing the balancing pose. If you're doing the tree pose, just lean on the tree.
knees and trees?
Knees and trees.
Knees and trees. Those are the things that yoga brings for me, knees and trees. Brings me on my knees, the trees. You know, thanks for coming and checking in with us. I'm gonna let you get out of here before you say namaste. We're doing an extra chair out here, but
thank you so much for having me. My name's Sara, Zaeh, and yeah, come check us out Saturday mornings.
yeah, check out Sarah's free yoga here on Friday. Check out Sarah's Zaeh on the Whispering Beard episode as well. If you go back, you know, like our sounds, you know, over time we're gonna get a little better sounds, but that was a pretty dang good sound that, you know, came out of that episode. So you can scroll back into the Wake the Farm Up archives and explore that a little bit. All right, how you guys feeling? I'm gonna do a little, give me a 1, 2, 3, and then y'all do Wake the Farm Up. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Wake the Farm Up! I wanna, you know, I just like fall in love with those moments. You guys are so beautiful. So I wanna catch up. Like Jerry, you feel like you're up for coming to the microphone? Come up. All right, well, it's over here. Everybody help me get to the bar.
What happened to the thing is not connecting to nature. We all know we need to do that. The interesting thing is how, right? And that's where you get into the conundrum of how to save the world in the right way and the wrong way. Because some folks are in, some folks are out. Some folks don't have the means to even think about that shit, right? Some folks need to have a solar panel on their house to decrease their energy bills so that they can even think about conceptualizing what it means to have an energy burden and an income that centers around a green economy. So this is something above my pay grade, but it all traces, unless we have I assume, a violent revolution, right? To change capitalism. Yeah. These are the things. Yeah.
Come on, give me some hope, bro.
No, these are the things that have to change within our system with capitalism. I'm not saying I have a crystal ball or anything like that, but our economy being based on a symbiotic relationship with nature, again, above my pay grade, that's how it has to go. Otherwise, people aren't going to care. Because you have a hierarchy of needs, right? Whether you agree with what that hierarchy is, as opposed to someone else, I don't know. But when your livelihood depends on nature, then we get there. And it has to. Yeah. Preach! Okay.
Wait for Starbucks. See what happens when I just shut up sometimes? You want to do this some more? Keep going, Tanner. Like, flow like Tanner's Creek right now. Come on, I'm cutting out. I live near Lawford Creek. I soak in the Lawford Creek. And if you're not from the area, you would read that and it would say what? Laffery. Laffery, yeah. I didn't even realize that. That's why I'm so confused with Laffery juice. I'm like a little clam down there filtering that through me all the time. Alright, anyway.
Clams are amazing animals. Bivalves. They're the best of us. You know that.
I love what they do.
I'm gonna pay clam too.
Hey, wake the farm up, y'all. We're down here, Carriage House Farm. We're in a little time warp now, you know. That was amazing. January 25th, waking the farm up with the Carriage House crew. And one of our special guests with us here today to catch up with a nice clean cut. We got Tanner from Groundworks, Ohio River Valley. How you doing today, Tanner?
Honor and a privilege. Good to be here with you, Andy.
Yeah. So it's that was a really fun show. You know, I'll probably definitely share it. There'll be a little couple slices, cut into it, to share the feel of it. But I wanted to recapture some of what we were sharing and what we wanted to talk about, and some of the things that I know, I'd love to hear from you more about is like that restoration works. And but really, I don't, necessarily, we don't have to talk about your work either. I know you mentioned that in the show. You love to, there's a lot you want to share. So, I love, we connected as fellow Creek geeks, just how we, love walking in this Ohio River Valley region. And so, yeah. Restore us on
excellent.
Restore our elfie ears on some of the things that you'd want to share with the show here.
Yeah, well, thanks, Andy. Yeah, to be at the farm and to wake it up was a magical experience in many ways, and so I was happy to share that with you and everybody else. It's a great time and a great vibe coming out of that. And to the point about my work and myself, for better or worse, I'm inextricably linked to the work because it's kind of an all-in kind of deal when you're working on restoration, climate change, equity, these spaces. So it wraps up your whole life, but also you bring what I think I'm trying to say, you also bring your personality and your ideas and your values to it, and the uniqueness that everybody has. That's the special sauce, and the diversity within gets us and moves us farther along when we're facing things like the climate crisis and biodiversity collapse or whatever. You got to have silver linings. You got to find the joy and the comedy and everything in between. So yeah, my work at Groundworks, Ohio River Valley, it's heavy subjects, but we tackle it in a really human way. And again, that centers the equity and people who've been left behind by the environmental movement, particularly youth and residents, largely low-income areas, residents of color, other underserved populations. So it's a different style and a different brand of environmentalism.
Nice. Yeah, God, that's an amazing, like, thinking about it even as a brand or whatever. It seems like something beyond that in a way.
Yeah, well, I mean, not to get too like trippy or existential here, but like I'm a fisheries scientist, right, by training, and it's worthless, and I don't mean that like it's not cool. I don't love it, and science is dope, but if you're not able to explain it and translate it, interpret and fit it into ideology and psychology and theology, then you're not going to change the hearts and minds of folks. So I can count fish till the cows come home, which I guess is the wrong ecosystem, but you know what I'm saying? If it's not understood by folks, then why are you going to care about it? So really the process, in my opinion, that we're in is more of an exercise in graphic design and communications and marketing. And why do people care about certain things? And a lot of it is probably hierarchy of needs or Pavlovian and just connecting people's priorities to something like the climate crisis. You can do that in all sorts of ways that aren't gloom and doom or polar bears. You can do it, of course, with the negatives, like your basement's flooding or it's 20 degrees hotter in my neighborhood because there's no trees in comparison to another neighborhood, or you can do it in the ways where we're starting a new green economy and we're restoring land and ourselves and our hearts and our minds and our bodies while also helping to reduce carbon emissions. So there's a lot of ways to look at it, and starting with the equity piece, particularly around indigenous knowledge and the first people and keeping values that are pertinent today. Like that's a good place to start. And I think you can build a web of optimism from that because within every crisis, there's opportunity, right?
So yeah, that's a lot of incredible thoughts in a few sentences. Like, oh my goodness,
pack it in, right?
Yo, wake the farm up. That's what I'm talking about. So some of your ways that you found yourself like integrating into the ecosystem and the works that you're doing are definitely connected to something bigger than yourself, and just the way that you express that, I love that. Like, what would you say are some of the ways in which you found like some of that purpose and guidance in this world?
Thanks. Yeah, thanks for that question. I say I'm not my work, etc. But I think we as people, we're some amalgamation of like our DNA and our experiences, right? And it forms together in this weird clay, and here we are as humans or else or whatever we are. And so it's super important. And for me, keeping with the themes of equity, the environment, environmental racism, environmental justice, social justice, these type of things that are just words and they don't have definitions unless you play them out with your experience, but also the academics and the data behind that. And the data for me is both quantitative and qualitative. So we need to have all the pictures from NASA and the surface temperatures and the tree canopies and so forth, but we also have to have the stories that are on the ground, right? So my story is not so different. It's a combination of privilege and luck, and coming up, particularly in the outdoor world. I was raised outdoors. I had great privilege, but going to national parks, paddling, fishing, hunting, biking, things like that. But representation-wise, there weren't a lot of people that looked like me, not a lot of brown kids out there. And so I had to fight and find my way in that space. And I had enough support, privilege, et cetera, and I did it. And I found myself at the top of where I wanted to go in relation to what I thought. Back to this fishery stuff, I was working on a boat in Alaska, working across some of the tropic spaces. And I was like, shit, man, like I did it. And I realized I was like, shit, now I have to go back because I found some cheat codes and it wasn't right for me to do it. And that's great. And there's nothing to take away from that story, me personally, or folks who supported me. But
cheat codes.
I think, right. I think when you get there, you're like, damn it, now I have a responsibility, particularly for me, young kids of color. Like that's all my work. That's where my heart is to lift them up, particularly those who don't have, the resources, the connections, the uncle who can get them the internship or whatever. The thing in the back of my mind is like that great conservationist is out there, the next great one. Maybe they're in a housing project and they don't have the access that the world is not malleable for them in current state. So we want to break through that and have different forms of learning and exploration and for barriers like income and opportunity, you know, we provide those things. At Groundwork, we've built one of the largest youth green workforce programs in the country. We employ over 150 youth a year, generally very low-income youth of color, different gender identities, et cetera, that, again, have been kind of left out of this colonial and settler environmental movement. We break that down. If income is the barrier, if you can't go to summer camps and so forth, we're going to pay you to come out here and do this work. You're also going to get paid to recreate, explore, and so forth. So that's what equity means to me, and leveling the playing field around all those things, so that you know, if you're a kid who kid who has, like, you know, some connection, great. But if you don't, we want to level the playing field. And so that's how I connect my personal kind of journey to the work now, and that. The youth stuff is where my heart is, but we do all sorts of work at Groundwork.
Right. Now, you know, it's amazing too how much information there is about living on this earth as a human creature, part of the ecosystem, and how those skills, you know, have been like so separated from so many of us as humans on this earth experience that. But it's not proprietary, you know, I keep saying that word, but it's like, it's not like owned by like one group or anything like that, you know, it's like instinctual. It's like the information is there. It's all around us. It's inside of us. And to help each other see that in the middle of this world full of propaganda and ads that we can click on that are convincing us to think this or that. And, you know, just to like really like, I like that concept of leveling the playing field for, you know, just the way that we experience it. In a way, there's like this sense of, I want my autonomy, but in that, you know, what is your bigger connection, you know, to the greater ecosystem, to the one love, you know, to the, you know, to each other as humans. And I love that is part of your work and purpose and flow. Appreciate that we're connected, and appreciate you sharing with us on Wake the Farm Up, the show here, and the listeners, you know, like what you're doing. I hope that, you know, they can connect with you guys, you know, out of the footnotes and,
right on.
Yeah. So like, I'd love to hear some about restoration. I know we talked about it a bit in the show. We talked about like, you know, invasives and different things, but I think ultimately where I'd love to get into this recording maybe would be some plant conversations, you know, like educate us a little bit, you know, like what kind of plants are you bringing into the Ohio River Valley in restoration projects and why?
I love it. Yeah, same wavelength. Like, and when we talk about plants, we're talking about our family, right? And there's a lot of decoding too, as it relates to the word invasive and so forth. We kill a lot of it. We kill a lot of invasive plants, like straight up rampage, like going on a killing spree with invasive plants because they're choking out the non-native. But if you look at the context and the vernacular, natives versus invasives, it gets into this weird space of immigration and people and othering and all this. And I understand it's scientific words and there's technicalities there. But the truth is, when it comes to nature, monocrops, right? Something like that. That's not healthy. That's not good. That's not sustainable. Just like with people, the biodiversity is sustainable. The diversity of people is the beauty around it. So what we're really trying to do when we're waging war against invasive species is make room for diversity. And I love the parallels there with people, right? Because we'd be so boring if we're all the same. Like, how colorless would that be in all the ways? So a lot of the restoration process for us, when I talk about healing mind, body, and soul, is back to one of the earlier points. So many people, you know, everyone has a right to nature and a connection to nature, but so many of us in different ways, depending on, you know, who you are, your background, whether it's because of slavery or colonization, immigration, whatever, been disconnected from nature and it's been taken from us. So to reconnect and break through a lot of the errors and wrongdoings of our forefathers or human history or whatever, we can still do that through connection to the land. And we find ourselves within the climate crisis and the opportunity therein to restore land in order to offset carbon, of course, in order to provide beautification, in order to build parks or public spaces or civic commons or habitat or air quality or food. You know, it's inextricably linked, and the benefits are everywhere. So we find ourselves putting our hands in the dirt, and you feel it, you know, from youth to residents, whatever, and you're part of that restoration and that transformation. And that's how we rebuild those bonds that were taken and broken with us.
Yeah, baby. Oh,
I love how you do it. I just love how you do it, Tanner. That's just, yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Mother Earth. That was Mother Earth, like, you know, she was just coming and saying something.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I really adore you all. Thank you. Thank you so much for adoring me.
Yeah, we
That's
love
a deeper
you, Mother
voice than I
Earth.
imagined.
Yeah, that's like the Mother Earth that wants to bring you cookies and pies, but if you're, you know, taking too many of the cookies and, you know, like somebody smack your little hand with a little earthquake or something, you know.
Yeah. Still, rules are still rules. Funny, man.
I'm really nice. Come on. But yeah, think about the cookies. Don't be greedy.
Okay, we'll work on
Okay, yeah, sorry.
Yeah. You know, we'll make sure there's enough,
My bad.
you know, some aronia berries out there, you know, that we can make some pies with. You ever work with aronia berries? That's one of my favorite native, like bushy plants that makes a berry that's really amazing for just like eating. It's a superfood, kind of like goji berries or something, but lesser known.
Nice.
But it's also been prescribed for radiation sickness, which I find fascinating, you know, and
Wow.
kind of think of it as a food of the future, you know, in the Hope Day Prepper catalog.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, okay, that one's good for the future. It's like 200 years from now, they'll be like, that's about as American as aronia berry pie.
I love it. We'll pop a cockroach in our mouth or whatever right behind it.
That's what I put it there for. I put it there for you kids. It's just for you to, you know, look around and see it.
Oh, thanks, Earth. You know, yeah, Earth provides so much, and you know, like you're saying, you know, chopping like out invasives. You know, I've had days like that where, yeah, there is a lot of internal rage that can be found out there in the world, and a lot of this landscape kind of is like a reflection of our mental health. And sometimes you got to just like chop through some things and, you know, lay it down on the ground and turn it into soil quicker, and like just interject yourself into succession so it steers into something different than what we can almost forecast from observation that it would do without an interaction of some sort. I like doing those kinds of things, and it's like these invasive species are just here like growing. And, you know, they have so much forgiveness for how much you might chop them down. And it's like, it's almost like they want that. And if you think about it, at one time, yeah, there was mastodons and things walking around that would eat that stuff and turn it into soil quicker. And, you know, it's just a weird segue time where nature's got a lot of human interaction involved in it in a lot of unconscious ways. And restoration, I feel like, is like one of the ways that we as humans are really like intentionally connecting and participating in nature in different ways to restore it in a way, like you said, to, you know, mentioned all the different reasons. And it's like, it's more than just food and medicine, you know, it's like, so that we have good, clean air for like generations, and, you know, all these amazing things that the ecosystem provides for us that right now we're stuck almost in this point click, buy this, buy that. Oh, everything's getting expensive. But meanwhile, it's all right there anyway. Like, what do I really need? What do I need? Restore that. Restore those moments.
That's the beauty of, you know, what Richard and everybody's doing at the farm too. Because the farm has problems. We're waking it up for the season and the year. It also it's a beautiful experiment in how we need to redefine coexisting with nature. We can't restore things back the way they were in the 1700s, right? It's just, there's so many things that are too different, from invasive species to climate change, to the way we produce food and et cetera, or build. But places like the farm are helping to pioneer the new way of coexisting in harmony between nature and humans. And that's exciting because, again, we can use some of the old ways and the indigenous ways, but we also have technologies that we have to embrace. So it's a pioneering frontier in its own way.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. I love how you were, kind of elaborating on like redesigning it almost like it's it's almost like, again, it's like a non-proprietary thing. It's instinctual, and it's like the design is there. It's like seeing what part of the puzzle, seeing how the whole puzzle works together and sharing it with people. And it's like generations later, like we'll remember it all again. It's just keep it coming through true, and observe what you see and sharing it with others. Like it's time to teach, it's time to learn, all at the same time. It's amazing.
Yep.
Yeah, appreciate you catching up with us here. Is there anything else that you'd want to share with the Wake the Farm Up show here? I mean, I'd love to have you back on an episode in a room, recording together and doing some fun things, and love to, support what you're doing with restoration. I love what you're doing, supporting underprivileged and, people, leveling the playing fields for people to connect to not only this information, but, access to earth and connection to it, and what liberation can come from that. I'd love if you had anything else you wanted to share on your journey before we cut out.
Back at you, Andy the Elf. I'm with you, man. I can't wait for the next live one. You got to have fun with this stuff. We'll break out in some nature freestyle. I got some rhymes for you.
Yeah.
Just in light of all of the overbearing and the enormous problems and so forth, we still have to find the humor and the happiness and the optimism. So I think there's plenty to go around if you know where to look. And people like you and the platforms you provide, that's a huge part to all of this, and keeping us on track and focused and doing what we needed to do. So yeah, for everyone out there, thank you for the time. Look us up. It's Groundwork Ohio River Valley, and explore what these things mean to you and how you connect to the world, climate, or whatever natural process really interests you, because no matter what you do, you have that connection, even if you haven't unearthed it yet. No pun intended, right? It's there in all of us. So just appreciate you, man.
Yeah. Wake the farm up. Wake the farm up. We love you. Maintaining Ground podcast. Definitely look forward to maintaining ground with you over time here. We're going to keep it coming through on the audios, and, see what else happens and Wake the Farm Up is, just like you said, authentically and organically can just grow into its thing, and trying to find its path and journey. And, I know consistency and, persistence, all those things, they come into play. And you've been consistently singing amazing. I can't even say that enough. So appreciate you, experimenting with doing a podcast, even, being open to singing for this show twice already for one show, to make it so, you felt the energy of the room, to be able to just share that in a little bit better way than a low quality audio that accidentally came through. I definitely hope to share some of the segments of some of the live performance, so we'll get a little bit of that in there too for our audio listeners to enjoy.
Yeah. No, it was a good night though. I really like that. I would love to perform another one. You always know to call me.
Oh, awesome! Thank you, Pod Squad.
Of course. So this next one is called December 5th. It's another acapella. This one this is like my affirmation song. That's like the best way to explain it. It's like the song that I sing, or I should sing it more. I'd probably feel a lot better throughout my day if I sang more to myself. But it's supposed to be like that moment where you realize, like, you know, life isn't that bad. I'm amazing. I just need to be strong, hold my head up, and not allow these things to like really bring me down too far, because at the end of the day, all we have is now. There's honestly, the way I think about things, there's no future, there's no past. It's only right now. It's always going to be right now. So, you know, if you are so caught up in what may happen and what already happened, your present, which is the only thing you can control and the only thing that you can make a decision on that will actually affect something is right now. So the song kind of brings me back to my center, brings me back to my footing, brings me back to balance, and just helps me to just re-regulate my nervous system and keep me aligned with myself. So, yeah. To me, yeah. Oh, look what you've done to me. I'm sorry, but I gotta be honest. I'm the flyest I've ever been. Skin is clear, I have no fear. This time a smile is real. No, I don't want your meals. I'm full of my dreams. My spirit calls to me. It's time to finally meet the new me. Always keeping my head up. 'Cause time it's take pressure. Keeping the faith without knowing the way. Keeping my head up. 'Cause time it's take pressure. Keeping the faith without knowing the way. Makes us stronger, wiser, keepers and finders of hope and resilience. I know I'm worth billions, and with numbers they count us one by one, two by two. I knew the truth before I was due. December 5th was chapter 2, so I fly high up in the sky, when no one can find me, and I try to find peace of mind. Always keeping my head up. Time is take pressure, keeping the faith without knowing the way. Keeping my head up, 'cause time is take pressure. Keeping the faith without knowing the way. Makes us stronger, wiser, keepers and finders of hope and resilience. I know our worth billions, and with numbers they count us one by one, two by two. I knew the truth before I was due. The syllabus was chapter 2. Yeah. I done.
I think I'm still up in the part. I think I was riding along with you, and then you like went up into the clouds where no one could find you. I think I'm still up there.
Yeah, that's the point. You're supposed to like, it's literally supposed to be like just you're floating. Like a lot of my music, I like to make like floating energy of just like release your tension, release the pain, release whatever you were feeling before, release, whatever pre-notions of where you're supposed to be or who you're supposed to be, and just like fly, just fly a little bit,
We're gonna give Jerry 2 minutes. Jerry, how are you doing? Here we
2
go.
minutes, all right, 2 minutes. I can do my introduction in about 2 minutes. So beyond that, I mean, we're done.
You better go.
There it is, all right, let's go. Hi, good evening. Let's talk about the Ohio River. All right. I've had the privilege of working for about 35 years doing water quality research on the Ohio River. And the biggest takeaway from all of that is it's not as bad as you think. The Ohio River is much cleaner than people imagine. It has a tremendous public relations problem. It looks dirty most of the time. Really does. But what is that dirt? It's called soil. Oh. And if you were to walk into your house with mud on your feet and you got it on your carpet, would you call the EPA to clean it up because it was pollution? No, you wouldn't. All right, because it's just mud. Great. Okay, and mud comes from any place that has exposed soil, and it rains, and it washes into the Great Miami River, or the Whitewater River, and then down to the Ohio River, which then goes to the Mississippi River, which then goes to the Gulf of Mexico. So the origin of most of the pollution problems we have today is soil. And again, that's what gives the Ohio River its public perception problem. But beyond that, bacteria levels in the river during the summertime are wonderful. I can find more bacteria on your kitchen sink than in the Ohio River in the middle of the summer. Wow. So it's much, much cleaner than people possibly imagine. And that's after 35 years of doing research on it.
When's the last time you were in my kitchen?
Hey. You don't want me to answer that, do you? Because you don't want to know.
I don't want to mention which chef that was talking either.
So the work that I'm doing with the National Park Service is very interesting. I'm with a group called the Ohio River Way. The Ohio River Way is a nonprofit organization.
I can interrupt you now. I love what you're saying, but that wasn't the right time to interrupt, but just because I could. I'm an elf, I can't help it. So the Ohio River Way.
Right.
Way. Cool. Did you get that idea from Wayne's World?
No, that's Wayne. This is Way.
Is this Way?
Way.
Okay.
Way. Ohio River Way, there we go. A river for all.
A river for all. Ohio River Way, check it out.
And we have developed a 274-mile-long trail that starts in Portsmouth, Ohio, and ends down in Kentucky below Louisville at the Salt River.
It goes across a few times, like into Kentucky, or like?
Well, it's on the water. It's a water trail.
Okay.
So you start up there in Portsmouth and you paddle all the way down, and I've done it several times, down to the Salt River. And we are developing this trail. We have a tremendous amount of data available. Most people don't go out on the Ohio River because they don't understand it. They don't know what's out there. They don't understand the system. So that's one of the things we're trying to do as an organization is get all of this information out there. How do you go through a lock? Are you allowed to go through a lock? Yes, you are. It's very, very easy.
Do you need a key or like you need a
Hey, garage door open.
Are there any monsters in those locks?
No, they're not that kind of lock. Okay, they're little different locks.
Yeah, just
they're the ones that you put your boat in. There you go. And then you go down through. All right, and you'll see the video online there on the website about how to lock through, and all of the safety issues that are associated with recreating on the Ohio River, is understanding the hydrologic dynamics of the Ohio River.
Yeah.
So all of this stuff is rolled into this Ohio Riverway Trail, and I'm working specifically on making it a national water trail, developing the information, putting together the application, so that we can become nationally recognized, one of the 30 nationally recognized trails in the United States.
Wake the farmer. Yeah.
Right. Wake the farmer up. Wake the river up.
Wake the river up.
That's right. Wake the river up. That's what we gotta do. You gotta tell people that it's a great place to be.
Talk about farming though, and you were talking about the silt in the water. I know reading accounts before people were, I'm going to dog on farming for a second, maybe the way in which you traditionally think of farming.
But that
river used to be clear. I can do it with my mouth full. I might be one of the people and I'll still have my mouth full. But let me tell you, like, when there was no people cutting all the trees down and ripping the soil up to plant massive monocrops, the river was known for being crystal clear, and it didn't get dirty until it got down into the Mississippi, where it was coming off the grassland, so there was soil sediment in there for a long time. But the water was clean and crystal clear, and there was waterfalls, like there's a waterfall down by the little village you guys cut out before that.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah.
And you can go see those waterfalls and get a little picture of what that river might actually look like if you get there on a good day when it's not too high, I guess. But
Islands.
there's
Islands,
in the river.
Islands. We have the Ohio River Islands National Wildlife Refuge. We have some islands left out there, and they are beautiful places. They are beautiful refuges for birds, for animals, for beavers, for otters. We have river otters out there now. We have bald eagles and ospreys. Just a tremendous amount of wildlife. We have 160 different species of fish out in the Ohio River. Which one of them has no teeth, no scales, and no bones?
I don't know. It's like, I feel like it's like a trick question. Like I'm supposed to say ball ears or something.
No,
Like you're
not a trick question. And it's a big fish.
It's a big fish.
Big fish. Paddlefish. That's exactly right. It's more closely associated with sharks. It's a
But even though they don't have,
cartilaginous.
you said they don't have teeth though?
They don't have teeth. They filter feed. They have a great big mouth, and they swim through the water with their mouth open, and they get plankton, and that's what they eat. So they have no teeth. They have no scales because they have skin, just like a catfish. We have a catfish here.
Hey, we got
we got catfish here.
We might off the record
But
get a
it's
little
actually-
saunter with him later.
It's actually more like shark skin than it is catfish skin. Catfish is very thin.
Like texturally.
Bit texturally, yeah, very much so.
Do you
And
eat them?
yes,
Like, do you know
yes.
people that eat from the Ohio River? The
Oh,
fish?
absolutely.
How's that?
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
I feel fine about it
Does
because
it depend on like when they're caught, like after a big rainstorm and all the sewer systems are flooded into it? Is it better to do it before that? Or?
no. I
Does
mean,
it matter?
it accumulates the bioaccumulative substances that are out there accumulate over time.
Sure.
So it's better if you're worried about that to eat the smaller fish
Okay.
than the bigger ones because they're going to have less time to expose and less time to accumulate,
And they're
bioaccumulate all of that stuff. However, we test the fish at Orsenko, which is one of the organizations I work for, test the fish every year for all the different types of contaminants out there. We publish that, we work with the health departments and find out which ones you could eat maybe once a week, once a month, once a year, what have you. But what do you know about the fish in the store? What do you know about those farm-raised fish?
Yeah, are they farm raised?
A lot of fish in the market
What
are
does that mean? Like
farm-raised.
just farm up. We're getting into it now.
Yeah.
Like
So what do we know about what's in those fish? I can tell you what's in the fish in the river. I can't tell you anything about what's in those fish in the store.
See, a lot of people, they kind of go into this whole, like, farming thing, like, the one that's farmed, they have this concept, like, I can grow it, I have this little system, I know what's in it, and they can, like, come and test it, it's this little closed-loop system, and then they profess that the ones that are out in the river are bad because of all of the stuff, and, like, so what's up with that? Like,
Perception.
I'm hearing you, like,
You know-
saying the total opposite, and I love it, I'm, into that out of the box.
It's data driven. What I have is data driven.
Okay.
What you're hearing is perception driven. Okay. Again, it's perception of how the
35
river
years
is.
studying the river, like, in those 35 years, like, what aspects, did you focus on certain aspects of yourself, like the paddlefish, or did you focus on all kinds of ecology in the water?
I had the privilege of working from literally the ground up, from collecting sediment off the bottom of the river and characterizing all those little bugs that live down in there and make the river work, up through the fisheries in the water column, up to the algae that lives on the top of the surface, up to the spill events that occur when a barge full of oil, turns upside down and it goes out and that's not nice. To going up to Congress to soliciting funds to pour more money into the Ohio River. The Ohio River is the biggest body of water in this nation that does not receive federal funding.
Wow.
The Great Lakes receive millions and billions of dollars for restoration. The Chesapeake Bay has that for restoration. Puget Sound has it for restoration. And the Ohio River gets zip. absolutely no money
Well,
for
I'm gonna dedicate
restoration.
this show to the Ohio River, and like the Ohio River is totally special, and it's something I've been thinking about. There's a lot of these entities, and that's what Wake the Farm Up is doing, is trying to flow with the ecosystem to have these partnerships with something like the Ohio River, who gets zero funding on its own natural accord for advertising or any of that kind of stuff, right? Meanwhile, you go look up advertising, how much like we spend on it in America per year, and it's like 300 billion or some crazy number, and you're just like, wow, that's all money to make us think that the Ohio River is dirty and eat the farm-bought fish? Is that what's going on? Like that money could be going in, like, is it all about making us want to go and buy filters? Like, so we can filter our own water? Meanwhile, like, yeah, my water's good, you all on your own, good luck with the dirty river water. It's like, what if we put all that money in advertising into taking care of our land around us, and advertising for it, let's advocate for that. I love how you're doing it. The Ohio River kicks butt. Wake the river up.
I have a question based on what you were saying about the fishing.
Yeah.
So is there any movement as far as commercial fishing applications where people can go to a fish market in town? It was from a fisherman who was down in the Ohio, and
Yeah.
are we doing that anymore?
Yeah, okay. The fascinating thing about this river is it changes from Pittsburgh where it starts, up in what used to be called Three Rivers Stadium, because you had the Allegheny River, Allegheny River, the Monongahela River forms the Ohio River, so hence Three Rivers Stadium, okay? And it is a very steep-walled valley up there, so that means that you can put a manufacturing facility or a business or a power plant or something right next to the river. And you have access to the water, you have access to the barges, you have access to all the resources you need, you got all the coal up there you need. Man, you can make electricity, you can make steel, you can make coke, all that kind of stuff. But as you come down, coke is a coal byproduct, excuse me. Yeah.
What is
You're gonna have a lot of people down at the river.
They're coming to volunteer.
The guy's a professional. He said it.
Dude, he has so much energy, it's amazing.
So stay 35 more years, come on.
It's like nothing, man. As you
He battled here in an hour.
as you move down the
The
river.
buzz buttons are kicking in.
Yeah, they are really. Whoa. The river flattens out. Basically, you don't have those steep-walled valleys anymore, and it's a very, very broad, wide river. And the connection of the people to the river in the lower third is much greater than anywhere else. And they still do have, getting back to your question, they still do have direct-to-consumer fisheries in the lower part of the river, down by Illinois, Paducah, Kentucky, those areas down there. They live more with that resource. You will go to a boat ramp and you will see commercial fishing vessels down there, which you never see up here, you never see up in Pittsburgh, whatever, but down there you do see it. We have a question from behind the bar. This is a chef question, this is gonna be good.
I'm going to do a repeat on it to the audio.
I know the invasive carp is large, but what else are they fishing for commercially? Bass?
What are they fishing for? Bass, he's rubbing his head. Chef, we got chefs that are like, I want dinner. Fish that's made up with the broccoli.
I think I'm calling bullshit.
No, actually, buffalo is one of the species that
That's a
they
fish?
fish for mostly down there. Yeah, it's a fish. They have these big antlers on it.
I used to go on fish tour, but I wish I knew a lot more about fish that are swimming in the Ohio.
That's a different tour.
Yeah, no, there's a fish. There's several species of buffalo, but it's called a buffalo fish. They get very large and they are quite edible. Even these new invasive carp species that we have, the big head carp and the silver carp, they are highly edible down there. They're eaten in Asia all the time. And there are companies that are trying, because there's so many zillions of them now down on the river. I just saw, there was a documentary that I was at last night on the Ohio River. And they showed some of the Kentucky wildlife people electro fishing, where you put electricity in the water. And when they hit the pedal and put the electricity in the water, literally thousands of these fish jump out of the water. Yeah, they're amazing.
I follow a Facebook group
Follow the Facebook group. Alright, that was so important to make sure we didn't have any audio sound.
Chefs
Chefs follow Facebook groups. If anybody didn't know that, that's a good place to start. So if you're starting a commercial fishery along the Ohio River, that's how you can find Mr. Dean over here. You know, you can go to the dean's office at some point. Make sure your shirt's tucked in. You know.
That's my last name, by the way.
Yeah, that's why I
That's
made
my
a joke,
office,
dude.
okay?
Can we get a mic behind the bar next year? Okay, if we're doing this again, we need a mic back there.
Turn the timer over, Rodney.
40,000 pounds of fish in one day.
In one day.
40,000 pounds of fish.
Your arms must have tired.
This guy, okay, we got the biggest fisherman story claiming over here. He said he caught 40,000 pounds of fish in the Ohio. But yeah, that brings me to a cool question, you know, like what is some of the biggest underwater creatures that are swimming underneath of us when, you know, an average person's just walking over one of these like average bridges that, you know, an average elf like me could go along and be like walking across the bridge, I'm gonna go to Kentucky. And then I look down and I see some big creature, what is it?
It's probably, I don't know, Justin swimming? I don't know. I mean,
Okay, well, here, how about another question? I don't knows. I give I don't knows when I don't know something, but that's what leads us to quests and why you do your research, right? In your research there, what kind of, what's some of the most bizarre things that you saw in the water? I hear there's alligators coming out of like the Lofty Creek.
I've never seen alligator in the river. We've had people that say, oh, you know, we found this shark in the river, and then you find out his brother-in-law just got back from Florida. You know, it's like, yeah, we go 1 and 1 is 2. The Ohio River supports some tremendous species. The paddlefish is probably one of the most unique because it has this really big long nose that it has, that's the native paddlefish, and it uses that to find higher densities of the plankton to eat because it has that big mouth and it lives in the water. There's one of the other big fish that are out there. It's a flathead catfish. They will get probably 50, 60 feet long, or 50 feet long, 50, 60 pounds. Excuse me. One of the big fish that was caught a couple of years ago, well, probably about 10 years ago now, was a blue catfish in this pool here by Cincinnati. 98 pounds. 98 pounds. And when they interviewed with the news media,
hey, we got fresh catfish, we just caught down the river, got 98 pounds. How many people in your neighborhood do you feed that day?
8 ounce fillet, 180.
The news.
Chef's on it, he said 180 at an 8 ounce fillet. He's got his unit proportion back there, everything. It's like the scales, he's already starting to portion it out. He's got a menu plan, which herbs he's going to use and which part of the season that these fish come in, all those things.
When the news media interviewed this guy about catching this fish, the kicker on the whole story was the fact that the newsman said, wow, this is a 98-pound fish and everything. They're going to put it in a farm pond, to live now. I bet it's happy to be out of the Ohio River. Now let's think about this. The Ohio River just grew a 98-pound fish. Why would it want to leave? You can't grow a 98-pound fish in polluted water.
Okay.
So it, in and of itself, was a testimony to the water quality we have of this system. And yet, the perception is still, wow, let's get this fish out of the river into a farm pond where it will undoubtedly die.
Yeah.
But that, again, that gets back to this whole perception that the river is dirty and the river can't support 160 different species of fish. 160 different species of fish in the Ohio River.
Wow.
All right? From tiny little mad toms, that are little catfish. Tiny little catfish. Yeah, they're cute. Up to the paddlefish, up to striped bass, up to some of the bigger species, the gar that we have out in the river that go 4 to 5 feet long. We have just an abundance of species and diversity that's just unbelievable.
It's the Ohio Riverway Challenge.
The Ohio Riverway Challenge. Let's talk a little bit about that. Okay. Guy down in Louisville, Kentucky has these great big, turn that around so they can see it.
Yeah.
They have these great big 30-foot long canoes. They're called Voyager canoes. They're what the trappers in Canada used to put their their pelts on in the
So
winter.
it's like a traditional style canoe.
OhioRiverway.org.
That's right.
Is it made from Ohio River Natural Resources?
Yeah, it comes from the Ohio River Natural Fiberglass Tree.
Oh, it is fiberglass. Okay.
Familiar on,
Recycled fiber optics. That's what our canoes are going to be made out of in the future. It's cool. We're getting ahead of things.
We get you can put about 12, 14 people in these canoes. And we will be booking that tour coming up here very soon. If you go to our website at OhioRiverway.org, and you can sign up to do that. You don't have to do the whole trip. It takes about 9 to 10 days to do.
Does it?
And you paddle in those things. You get in there with all your best friends, and you paddle downstream. And they can go surprisingly fast if everybody is paddling the same way. Right? You got people going the wrong way.
Do you
and
have
they go in circles.
do you have songs or anything that you
We
sing?
actually do have a gentleman who is of French origin because the fur traders up in Canada were French. And they sang songs to coordinate the strokes that the paddlers would use. So yes, we do have actually a Frenchman that sings those songs with us as we're paddling.
Do you know any pieces of the songs or anything? Bonjour.
He's not French.
He's not. I know you're not French, but do you know any pieces just to share with the audio lesson? Just let us in. Is it like I don't know much French. I like French. I'd be like baguette. Croissant.
I can't think of any right now. There were some familiar ones, but I can't think of what they are right now.
Okay, no worries.
But
yeah, I look forward to we'll dig into that. I'd love to talk with you so much more. These are some really fascinating things. I'd like to, after the recordings tonight, I'd love to catch up with you and get your business card and give you mine so I can give you calls and text you like random things once in a while. But also, mostly, I want to try to connect with that 98-pound catfish. I'd love to get that on the episode with our squirrel friend from earlier in the show.
They usually don't get along. So the catfish and squirrel.
We can edit things. We can do things remote. So
You might have to do
we want to
it
make sure everybody feels safe. So it's cool. Catfishes like in squirrels.
Squirrel's afraid of water.
Squirrels are not afraid of water. Tell us.
Contraire, mon frère.
Yeah.
Okay.
See, French.
I've seen a water ski before.
Well, no, I want to say it was about 2000. The mast crop, which is all the nuts on the trees, the oaks and the walnuts and the bartenders, all of the nut crop in West Virginia failed because they had a drought. And all the squirrels were starving, so they started migrating north. They hit the river, and they started swimming across the river. And I happened to be out there and saw literally hundreds of squirrels swimming, and many of them drowning.
Yeah, I've
As
never
they
seen
tried to
great
come
squirrel
to the
migration.
North Shore.
I've never seen this, but my grandmother used to tell me about seeing that, and she was born in 1910, so if she's still alive, she'd be 114. Maybe she saw that early 1900s, all these squirrels jumping and swimming across the Ohio River, and yeah, some of them didn't make it, and you'd see like occasional little bleeps.
Yep. So
that's
we don't count that as one of the fish, but
Fish
they're
food?
out there. Yeah, they were there.
They float. It's fish food, right?
Hey, it's been a pleasure.
Hey, I appreciate you so much. Everybody, if you're around Claude Jerry, we're going to catch up with him in that 98 time catfish.
The things about the river that they don't know, they don't understand. I was talking earlier about the depth of the river. If we look at the paddle boats, the old time paddle boats that used to by the hundreds used to go up and down this river system, and you look at the hulls on those boats, those hulls didn't draft more than 2 or 3 feet, maybe 4 feet at the most. And why weren't they deeper hulled? That's because the river is shallow and was shallow. So they couldn't have a big deep hole underneath the boat going up and down the Ohio River. It had to be shallow.
That's so it's amazing. You're getting to do the field ecology work, getting to experience the way the water feels on, under you. You can eat the fish. You're getting to fish, for like your job over the years here, even just to be able to catch them, like you're tagging things or you're doing different counts. You're connecting and really enjoying the present experience of being in the river. You got the adventure crew beverage.org, where you're connecting people. And, I loved how you even specified how it's like you're kind of targeting a market of people who don't have access to connecting with nature in these kind of ways. You're also connecting it to anybody who wants to do it. It seems like too. You got the OhioRiverway.org, where you're mapping out water trails on the Ohio River. You guys are doing these trails with the adventure crew. You're using the Voyager canoes, which are, these giant, canoes that how many people can jump in one of those?
We usually have 10 to 12.
That's amazing. Plus, you guys are like carrying some equipment. You do everything to make sure it's safe. You got the other boat that can kind of help navigate with the barges coming through. It's just like it's such a amazing, thorough thing that you're pulling together here.
Let me mention two other programs, and they're both actually programs now of Adventure Crew, and that is Paddle Fest, which is in its 23rd year, I believe, this year. It's the first Saturday in August, and it is a paddle here in Cincinnati, where we start at Schmidt Recreation Center up on the east side of town, and paddle 9 miles down to Gilday Park on the west side of town. And we get about 1,500 people, about 1,500 canoes and kayaks, and up to about 2,000 people that will do that event in 5.5 hours on a Saturday morning on the first Saturday in August. It is an absolutely fantastic event. The river is closed down. We work with the Coast Guard, and we close the river down to all motorized traffic. That's barges, ski boats, you name it. Anything with a motor is forbidden to be in that stretch of river for that 5.5 hour period. And people can either rent a canoe or kayak from Paddle Fest, or bring your own. We provide all the shuttle arrangements to go from Gilday to Schmidt, or Schmidt to Gilday, for parking purposes. We have 5 houseboats out on the water during this event that have bands on them, and people are playing while the paddlers are going by, and it is absolutely amazing to see that.
That is so cool.
That's an event that people can become involved with. It's not difficult to do. I'll tell you that right now. It is not difficult to do whatsoever. So don't be afraid. Well, I've never paddled, that far. Well, it's not a big deal. And paddling on the Ohio River, by the way, is particularly that time of year in August. It's more like a lake than it is a river, because that time of year it's under low flow conditions generally.
So not too
and the
ripply
speed,
and,
and the speed of the water may be a half a mile an hour. So that's almost non-perceptible.
Easy river,
and so you have it's very, very easy to paddle that course. People, again, go to adventurecrew.org and look up the Paddle Fest event and get registered for that. We hear so many people tell us that, oh man, I've always wanted to do that and I just have never done it. Well, get on that website and sign up this year. The earlier you sign up, the more you're going to save, because the closer you get to the event, the prices do go up. So get on there and take a look at that. The other event that Adventure Crew also sponsors, which I believe is in its 13th year this year, is the Bill Keating Jr. Great Ohio River Swim. And that's where we, again, close the river down, and we've had 250 people that will swim starting at the upstream side of the Serpentine Wall, and they swim over to Newport and then back to the Cincinnati side to the public landing and get out there. And the course is actually a V shape, because we allow for the downstream movement of the river.
Nice.
So it's very hard to do a straight line across and a straight line back. Because the river is moving it down. So we just make it easy and make it a V so that people can do that. And it's amazing, the people that come down and do that. We've had I think we had an 89-year-old do it a year or two ago. 89-year-old lady did it.
That's awesome. Yeah.
And and we've had kids with parental approval do it as well. I forget what the age limit is there,
Gotcha,
and I have done it myself. I've done it, so not a problem. The question about can you swim in the river?
If Jerry can. I'm going.
Yeah, Jerry can. I'm not fast swimmer. I'm not a fast swimmer. I didn't break any records doing it, but I did it. So
did you get any paddlefish, like get stuck in some paddlefish teeth?
No, not at all. Paddlefish teeth. Come on. I got a necklace full of them. But that's another thing that people also, ask about a lot is, can you swim in the Ohio River? And the answer there is primarily yes, as long as it hasn't rained recently.
Okay.
It's, again, a rain event that washes that bacteria off of the land. Some of it does come from our sewer system that we still have that we inherited.
Sure.
But a lot of it comes from overland. I'm sitting right now at a horse stable, and anything that these horses leave on the ground, then it rains, it goes down in the local creek, and that creek goes to a stream, that stream goes to a tributary, and boom, it's in the Ohio River before you know it.
Yeah.
And that's how the process works. But 3 to 5 days after that rain event, the bacteria levels go way back down, and they're fine, and you can swim in the river. And obviously, we are monitoring the bacteria levels before the swim event. So we always hold it, during a time period when there is good water quality.
Right.
That's imperative, the safety aspect and the water quality. And back to the safety aspect for both the Paddle Fest and for the swim, we have numerous kayakers that line the course to monitor everybody. So if somebody gets tired or they need a little assistance, we have people out there to help them. We have the Sheriff's Department. We have the Ohio Department of Natural Resources. We have the Kentucky people out there with their patrol boats and everything supporting us, Boone County Water Rescue. Everybody's out there supporting these two events and to make sure they're done safely. And we have literally had virtually no problems over the years we've been doing these two things.
Nice. Yeah, and one more question I definitely had. I really appreciate you chiming in here for the show. I did want to hear a little bit about your wild goose chase. I heard about a little wild goose chase from Tanner.
That one? Oh, the one that happened last night, huh? Yeah, really? Okay. Well, I am a hunter. There's no two ways about that.
Mm-hmm.
I hunt all kinds of different critters that are legal to take, and I also eat them. So I'm not the type that just goes and shoots something and says, "Wow, that was fun."
Mm-hmm.
But I learned how to prepare them. I love to cook, and so Tanner and I were out last night, and we were able to harvest one goose. I was able to harvest a goose last night, which I'm very thankful for.
So like a Canadian goose?
Yeah, Canada goose. Canada absolutely.
Goose, yeah.
Canada goose. Yeah.
Okay.
And I gave it to Tanner and Brandon Reynolds, who is also one of my hunting partners down there. And the best way I have found to prepare goose is to corn it, just like corned beef, and then use it in making goose Reubens. And it is a great meat. It's a great texture. It's a great flavor for goose. And it just lends itself so well to that preparation technique. So I will do that a lot of times with goose breasts. Other than that, if you just cook up a slice of goose breast, it will generally, at least in my opinion, it tastes like a combination of liver and well done roast beef. And it's not flavors that I actually enjoy, but some people do. And hey, more power to you. We got plenty of the things out there, that's for sure. But more than we need. But Tanner and I had a great time last night. We were able to harvest one goose, and I'll tell you right now, they're working on preparing it, and we're going to be eating it here before too long.
Oh, that's incredible. I know some people that call them water turkey. And, they're into...
Okay.
they're cooking it up, like you said, has, much respect. It's like these creatures are out gathering all this nutrients from all over the place. And,
right.
I like being part of the ecosystem, and, I'm going to do the same thing.
Yeah. Well, being part of the ecosystem is better than not.
Right. That's, that other option, I guess, is just like that total disconnect. And
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Thanks for giving people an opportunity to hear some of your words on, some of the different projects you're doing, but, mostly thanks for doing your projects, and, look forward to connecting with you in the future. Maybe see you down at Carriage House for one of their shows, and,
absolutely.
Love to, hear more about the ecology. You're inspiring me to brush up on my fish ecology realms. I definitely spend a lot of time in the plants and mosses, and, I'm a landlubber, but I get into the streams. Well, I get into the stream projects a bit. So I definitely want to brush up and, know how to observe more than what I'm, observing right now.
Maybe we can convert you.
Love it. Well, take me down to the water. Take me down to the water.
There you go. Take you to the water.
All right. Appreciate you.
Take you to the river.
Thanks for being here with us.
My pleasure, Andy. My pleasure.
Jerry Schulte. Now, so you guys know there's a merch table over here. There's we got, for our first time, Wake the Farm Up t-shirts, which is fun. There's a limited edition print, and there's some stickers too. Check it out.
Will you autograph my squirrel?
I will autograph my squirrel.
This last one is going to be a track, and just because the beat is just so sick. I found it on YouTube. I'm going to buy it, so no one else buy it. I'm going to literally scream. Thanks. Let me make sure that this sounds right, and then I'm going to explain it. Can you hear that?
Yeah.
You heard that?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll explain it first. This one is called I call it right now Energy. It's called Energy, but it's like Energy because like I experienced a lot of soul suckers, and they're everywhere. Yep. And when I call them soul suckers, I was gonna be a lot nicer with my term, but I don't feel nice. People who and just energies that just come to you, and they're just coming to you to take whatever you have. And for me, I've grown up a lot. The way I've grown up, I was like always just keen to be that person for everyone because I wanted peace. And, and so that's like part of the people pleasing. When you grow up, you're like, oh, well, as long as my surroundings are okay, then I'll be okay. So you just, become the perfect person. Everybody loves you and everything. Then you wonder, like, when you're alone, either you can't be alone, or you worry too much about things, or like when you are alone, you're incredibly sad and depressed, and you need other people to either be there to validate you or make you feel like something. And so I experienced that my first few years of college, especially my freshman year. I went through a lot. My best friend is on my life right now. She was there. She was there. She knew. It was really hard for me, and like actually a lot of people around me didn't really necessarily know how hard it was for me, because I'm always so used to keeping up my little smile and my good energy and just making sure everyone around me is okay and happy and feeling good. So this song is about like the visual in my mind is like I do this meditation sometimes when I'm feeling really like full of anxiety, and I imagine like everyone who's connected to me is like a cord. So like spiritually, anyone you meet, anyone you connect with, they have a cord to you. So your mother has a cord to you, your best friend, even someone you randomly met and just had a little like experience with, they have a cord to you. So it depends on what that cord is. Some cords will suck your energy dry. Some cords are just like spiritual soul cords where it's like, oh, we're here, we're together, but we're not taking anything from each other. It's like an equal, like kind of balance thing. So sometimes when I get too much in my head, or if I get like just my anxiety's bad, or I'm overthinking, or I'm thinking about too many opinions, or I'm like caring too much about what people got to say to me, I feel drained and my body feels like literally my energy is being taken away from me. So I'll meditate and I'll visualize all the chords, and I'll think of the people one by one that either I think it's connected to, or just anyone. I'll just do it to people, even if their energy isn't soul sucking. I will just remove all cords and connections to myself and bring myself back to me and only my energy. And then I move, then I make decisions, then I go outside, then I do this. Because sometimes if I don't do that, it's not going to be good for me, because I'm going to be sucking in all this energy, empath type thing going on. And it won't be good for me. And it's not ideal for me. I don't like living like that. So this song, that's the visual for this song. That was a long explanation, but I just really wanted to get that out.
Yeah, I didn't even want to cut you off at all. That was, I feel that. Yeah, there's it's like restarting the computer or something, sometimes you just got to unplug it.
Yes.
Then go reconnect. Yes. Yeah.
Yes, literally that. Literally, like that specifically. Yes. But yeah, so that's energy. Let me make sure.
I can tell your unit turned back on.
Then what do you do? Oh, after I about the soul suckers. Oh, someone asked me a question. They asked, "What do you do about the soul suckers?" You send them prayer. Like I would love to go around and like individually go to each person like, hey, leave me alone, hey, stop. But then that even gives them more power, because truly no one has power over you, even if they are sucking your soul. No one has power over you unless you allow them to have power over you. So a lot of times I will try my best not to send that person any negative energy, because that will continue the loop of the soul sucking. Mm-hmm. So that, and also don't be around those people. Don't waste time talking to those people. Don't waste time trying to understand them and see if you know someone just sucks your energy. That's a pure boundary. Like, I don't even have to explain myself. Why don't you hang out with me? I just, why would I? And some people don't even know they're doing it. And that's when it's hard to be like rude. Like, don't be rude. Just be like, we just not gonna hang out. They're gonna call. I'm just gonna say I'm busy type idea. It sounds mean, but then you're just gonna be out with them upset. So, but I always say Judgment Day is coming. If you do out here doing dirtiness, Judgment Day is coming. I leave it up to God, whoever anyone prays to. I leave it up to them, because it's not my job to fix people and make them see.
Hey.
It's not my job. Yeah. It's my job to protect myself.
Right.
So.
Yeah, you can give people like 3 meals a day, a place to sleep, and all the things to like get their life in order, and it's up to them, Still up to them.
Right. It's literally
not your job. Yep. Give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day. Teach a man to have fish,
right, exactly.
he'll fish as long as he as long as he self motivates himself to go fishing. You can't sit there and like make sure he's fishing. Yeah.
I've stopped trying to bring everyone up with me. I do my little part. I make sure they know they've got my love forever. I'm supportive. If you come ask me, hey, I'm concerned about this, I want to talk about this, we can talk for hours, days, years, however long you want to talk for. But I don't go out of my way to fix people anymore, because I was like a thing, I was like Captain Save-A-Ho. At some point, I was Captain Save-A-Ho. I was trying to save everybody and their mamas from their own detriment. But that just trained me and kept me myself from my own peace. So
yeah, well,
you gotta just do you, do the best for you, and hold yourself down, hold your own back up,
and then regenerate, and then figure out how to regenerate your own energy.
Yes, always know what makes you happy. Energy. That is really important to know, because even if things happen in life, as long as you know what brings you joy and what brings you back to your peace, you're always going to be good. It's always just going to be love, slow moments. Slow moments.
All right, bring us up with some music, and it's like that's a tone to a feel. I'm ready.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make sure you can hear me and hear the music. I'm gonna play it and I'm gonna sing a little bit, and then you're gonna let me know to make sure you can hear both me and the track and everything. Okay?
Yeah, yeah.
And then I'll restart it because I like to be perfect.
I love it.
Okay.
Take one.
Is that good?
Yeah. I feel that when you start singing a little bit longer just for a test, because I feel like when you sing, I don't know if there's a noise gate that starts taking the music out and then it comes back in.
Okay.
Try that.
So I'm going to do it one more time. All right. I'll play.
Yep.
Okay. Perfect. All right.
Yep.
Let's do it now.
All right.
All right. I got you.
Lifetime. Chicken. Here we go.
Guess I did it again. Guess I did it again. Guess I'm doing it again. I guess I've done it again. I guess I've done it again. A new friend. I ain't want it after a while, but you kept coming, so I tried to smile. Didn't mean to hurt your feelings. Guess I needed more healing, 'cause I knew that you were meant for me. But I just had to wait and see. You call me a queen when I stay in between your dotted lines, your twisted mind. You scared to set me free, 'cause I just amazing. So you keep me close, waiting for your next shows, taking on my energy, hoping that I set you free, taking on my energy, hoping that I set you free, taking on my energy, hoping that I set you free, taking on my energy, hoping that I set you free. Oh no, please no, oh no. Why you keep calling my phone? I don't want you in my life. Why can't you just say goodbye? Did I really break your heart, or was it already apart? Here's a hit, got that from your mama. Taking on my energy, hoping that I set you free. Taking on my energy, hoping that I set you free. Taking on my energy, hoping that I set you free. Taking on my energy, hoping that I set you free. Oh, I guess I did it again. Should have did that, but okay, yeah, that's that. Should have did one later. That one's gonna be on my I'm gonna have, okay, so I'm only telling people who are gonna sit and watch this, right? I want to do a visual album, and it's going to come out. It's not coming out anytime soon, so don't get too excited. But when it does come out, it's going to be a visual album. That song's going to be on it, and oh, the idea is so dope. I wish I could sit here and tell you the whole thing, but I can't. But yeah, that one won't come out for a minute though, but I'm not going to perform it that often because I want it to be more of a surprise. But since I love you, Elf, I show you my new stuff.
Love
So,
you, India. That was
that was
thank you
really
so
fresh
much.
though, like barely mixed or anything.
I know.
But I love it.
Oh, I feel it's such a special. That's special. Thank you. Oh my god, that felt so good.
Don't cry. It's okay.
Yeah. Thank you. That that taking up my energy. Like
You know, did it give that vibe? I about to say, did it? Because it's like on the video idea. It's too crazy. It's too crazy. Like I really want people to feel it. Like really feel it and let it go. Let people go, man.
Let people
Let
go. Let them go.
Please. Let them go.
Yeah, I don't want to like end our conversation with let them go, but I will let you go. Thank you so much for getting into the recording. This is so much fun. All right.
Of course.
And once you open your third eye, like, are you going to go back and close it? No, you're going to go on to the fourth eye. What?
Yeah, close that.
Get the chakras open.
You know? So, yeah, let's you're a creek geek, man. I look forward to stomping some creeks, anytime cold plunge in winter, whatever. We'll do it. Especially now we know from Jerry how clean the water is, We're all going swimming in the Ohio River cold plunge tonight, who's down?
Jerry first.
We're going to reopen a fish market down.
We're talking about Jerry and fish. My brain's getting so my neurons confusing across in here. I'm looking out up here. So just looking out for you. If you get confused, we gotta listen to some music. We should have you got some music? Stefan 101. It's the next life moment.
This generation, I leave it in your hands. Know that I'm patient. Misery spreading all over the nation. But so much is love, so let's let that be placed. The man in the mirror, I know I can face it. I'm doing my best with what I do. I'm my way, I'll never be switching. Try to put punches, just know I ain't switching. Yeah, we got in the corner, I know that you want it. All the sons and all the daughters, so in the rise, and night will fall. We coming one, we coming all.
My bad.
Good way to farm up. Come on, Commander. I think we're getting frequency.
Take two. I'm supposed to give you vocals on that. when the sun was red, remembering our birthdays in this world. I need protection, I need your strength. Just let me heal all of your pain. I got it. So if I'm dancing, I'll take my chances. We look for things that don't make us happy. Following trails of reminiscence. But I was never told, I was never shown. It's not supposed to feel that way. And I say it here on my bed. Ask me to dance with the devil at night. No we went, but I was standing, remembering our purpose in this world. I see it tears of loneliness on your
Wait to find my work for you going into 2024. We're having some fun. Thank you all for coming with dance.
This ain't a dance song.
Okay.
He said, this is not that song. This home is got to go. I'm too close, so I have to let it go. There's nothing for me right there. Courage is only when you're scared. These human emotions almost made me forfeit. I couldn't see past the view. No one knew I was hurting, but I made sure to cover it. I didn't want them to see me fall, but now I'm all broken. Pieces gone hard stolen. They thought they found a token, but they don't know what I got to. No matter how hard they try to, no, they don't know what I got to. No matter how hard they try to, no, they don't know, they don't know, they don't know. No matter, these human emotions almost made me forfeit. I couldn't see past the view. No one knew I was hurting, 'cause I made sure to cover it. I didn't want them to see me fall, but now I'm broken. You know, thank you. And it's in the Leo moon. I have a Leo moon, so I'm all. Oh, Leo. Hey, see, y'all get it. Y'all get it. Y'all understand.
You got all the ladies here.
Okay, this last one is a new song I just wrote. I've been having fun with it, so bear with me. I'm still getting the things out of it. It's called Energy. It's about when people kind of just suck out your energy, and you're like, gotta cut them cords. Gotta cut them cords. So. Okay.